Hey, I'm Lord Bounty, and this is my Spider-Man 2 game review. Now, it's 9 out of 10. The story for me is what carries Spider-Man 2. Obviously, there's other things like the graphics and so forth, but we'll cover all those later. So the story, what I liked about the story, I like how overall you're ramping up to this big moment, which is Craven and Venom. So that felt satisfying when you actually reach those big moments and where they took the characters. So Miles, they decided to take him in the role of he's gonna be the Spider-Man for his universe. Peter is gonna be more himself, which is just Peter Parker, and focusing on his life. So that's where they take both of these character stories. So you get to play with both of them throughout the story, which I thought was cool. And also to add, I like the designs of all the villains, the designs of all the costumes that they have, and then also I think the voice actors did an amazing job. The story itself, with the voice actors carrying you through it with their emotions, you literally believe their emotions through their voices, so they're making the characters come to life. So that's why the story for me is the selling point of this game, obviously, because once we touch on the combat, I feel like the combat is where they need to improve. So from here, we'll talk about side quests. Side quests also need to be better. They're not great. They don't feel fun. They feel more like a chore. So side quests I really don't like. So to give example is there's this one, like I like the idea of it, like the lore of it, where you're collecting your uncle's which is the Prowler's um gadgets, but it was boring, right? It was just like, oh, figure out this puzzle. Even and the puzzles weren't really like puzzle like they were just like, oh, come here, open the door like this, and then open another door, and then there you go. You avoid some lasers, and here's the item. So this didn't feel fun. Even explaining it, I was almost falling asleep on myself. So side quests, that's something else they need to punch up. And then from there, I can't say anything bad about the graphics. Like the story is the focal point, but then the graphics is also amazing. Like how the city loads up really quickly, and like you don't even notice it. There's barely any lag or bugs. It's like really, I haven't tested the frame, so I can't speak on this, but I feel like there's not much frame drop. I think the engine holds steady. I mean, the graphics is just, it's mind blowing how well it looks. So for someone that's a casual in terms of understanding graphics and things in that nature, it's amazing. And then from there, we could talk about the fast travel. I think any other open game that other developers make in the future should take a page from Insomniac, because their fast travel is insane. It's literally what it says. It's fast. Now, combat, and then after this, that would be the end of my review. Going over the combat. Combat is just that it just doesn't feel good. It's super repetitive in a bad way. It's not like Devil May Cry combat or God of War, where yes, the combat is repetitive, but it's so engaging that you don't mind that it's repetitive, and you're willing to go through those games multiple times. In Spider-Man, all your power is locked between your gadgets and also your abilities. Now the gadgets aren't really powerful, they're just CC mechanics, and sometimes they can kill the enemy. But what isn't good about the gadgets, they all the same. So you have one that does CC, and guess what? You have a second one that does CC, and then guess what? You have a third one that does CC, and oh yeah, you guessed it, the fourth one also does CC. So there's no difference between them. They just, like, visually they do the CC differently, but it's not like one where you shoot a gadget, it shoots a bunch of lightning, and the lightning arcs to all the different enemies. Or if you want to be more aligned with Peter and Miles together, since they have to share the gadgets, like, I mean, you can still do that. Like Peter and Miles are geniuses, so they can make a gadget that electrifies enemies. Anyways, you don't even have one that shoots the gadget, which then the gadget explodes or shoots like a big wet ball that might trap like one or two enemies. Like nothing like that. So it's very boring, not intuitive. Now the abilities I think are better than gadgets, but I don't like how the abilities are locked behind a cooldown. I think the abilities should be merged with your combos. Like if you do square square and then triangle, square square square, maybe you could do one of Miles's cool Venom Blasts, like something that's spammable but isn't overpowered, right? You have to first do this combo sequence to be able to do it, and then you could just scale the power of the last hit of that combo. So in those two aspects, I feel like they can improve. And then I don't like the skill tree in the sense of you unlock, like there's one part where you might see in the video where Miles can kick someone up against the wall. I call it 1,000 kicks. That is dope. But I don't like that it's locked behind a skill tree. I feel like the skill tree should be more like it just boosts things up. I feel like as as someone going through the game, you should, especially a game like this, you should be overpowered, right? You should just be like whooping people's butt because you are Spider-Man. So I don't know. I just think the skill tree isn't necessary. So just to wrap it up in a nice clean way, gadgets are whack. Don't like that abilities are behind a cooldown, and I don't feel like the skill tree actually works in Spider-Man 2. I think you should gotta do something else with it, and that's pretty much it. So at the end of the day, I enjoyed my time, but I will not replay Spider-Man just because of the combat. So I feel like that's the negative, is that there's no, to me, in my opinion, there's no replayability because the combat is just not fun. So let me know what you guys think in the comment sections below, and I'll catch you in the next one.